Hello and welcome to this Microsoft PowerPoint tutorial. In this tutorial, I am going to show you how to add animations and transitions to your slide. Now, when we talk about transitions and animations, is when you go to a presentation and you see that the slides will have some transition effects, how the slides come onto the screen. Okay, in some instances, the presenters will present and then they will hold certain part of the text or image, and then they will display it when they want to make the point, rather than having it all displayed on the screen at the same time, so that your message flows and the presentation is in line with the way or the information that you are presenting. Okay, so that is why transitions can be very handy, particularly if you are trying to create a PowerPoint and you will not present the PowerPoint in person, but you package it as a MP4 player or video format, and then you can leave it play on a display device or screen. You will see some of this in conferences where you will see the screen being displayed. Okay, so that is what I'm going to show you. So transitions. Now you think of transitions, and when you go to the tab, you will see the transition tab. So you click on it, and here I have 5 slides, and transition simply means how the next slide will appear, how the slide will appear on the screen. Okay, so that's the effect that we want to create. Instead of just flashing out on the screen, we want it to have some little bit of effect to come onto the stage or the screen. So if you look at these transitions that are available, this is mob. So if you look at it, it's going to appear like that, and then you can see the effect. So this one will be pushed up from the bottom, this one will come from the and glitter, and a whole lot of more. So you pick one that you think or you prefer and you think it will really captivate your audience, then you choose one. But in very formal presentations, most of people will not use transition too much, but if you really design it properly, you can. Okay, there's no one stopping you from using transitions for your slides in conferences or formal presentations. So in my case, I'm going to use blinds, because I kind of like goes in that. And now the first thing you see is that, notice is that by default the transitions are set to duration is 1.6 seconds. Because of that, you will see that the timing is very fast, and if you leave it at a very short transition, then it kind of doesn't make any create an effect on the audience. Okay, it looks too fast, and sometimes it is like a distraction. Distraction can happen. Okay, so what you do is you increase it a little bit to maybe 6-7 would be the ideal time, 6 or 7. So we'll leave it at 7, and 7, 8, 6 or 6 to 8 range, seconds range is okay. So now if I preview it, now it's taking a little bit of time and it's now slowing. So 7 looks good. Okay, because it doesn't come too fast, it doesn't too slow, it's just the right timing, and there it is. Okay, that's how I want my slides to appear. Now once the timing is set, now I have to decide whether, for consistency's sake, you need to apply, just select apply to all. Okay, so I press apply to all, and then the other thing is by default it's on mouse click. Okay, so when you want the next slide to appear, then you want to click the mouse physically. Now that is important if you are presenting. Okay, if you are presenting in person, that is good. But if you, as I've said before, if you want to package it as a video and you want to let it play by itself, then you need to specify it after this. So I'll click this one and say, okay, after 2 seconds. Okay, so yes, 2 seconds. After 2 seconds, I want the 2 seconds or 3 seconds, 4 seconds. That means that when the next slide is going to come onto the screen, it's going to come after 4 seconds. So each slide will remain on the screen for 4 seconds for people to read. And then if you think that the information needs a bit of time for the audience to read, you can increase this. So but for now I'll just leave it as 4 seconds, and then we'll test it. So now we apply everything, and now we are ready to test. So I'll go to the slide show button here. I press, and then there it is. So now I'm not pressing any my mouse. So first slide is now appearing, and then after 4 seconds the next slide is appearing. We wait for another 4 seconds, and then the next slide appears, and it will continue in that transition. So that's the next slide. Next slide. So you can see that I'm not pressing anything, it's just playing by itself because we set it to after. We are not pressing mouse. If we don't use this after and we just put a mouse click, then I have to physically click the mouse for the next slide to come on. So but that is if you are presenting in person, you click on the mouse click. But if you package it as a video and it's going to be self-timed, then you have to time it by that. So that's the transition. So our transition is now set. All the slides will appear in that after 4 seconds. Now animation. So when it comes to animation applies to the object on the slide. Okay, that's the difference. Transition applies to the slide as a whole. Okay, how the slide will come onto the screen. Animation is specifically for each of the objects that will appear. Objects are like, images or graph or text, anything that you put on the slide. So in this case I have a graph here, and I'm going to add another inside another shape, and I'll take the smiley. Okay, so I'm going to put the smiley there. I'll color this fill color to yellow. So that's my smiley, and what I want to do is I want to animate this one, meaning that this smiley will come first, do its turn or twist, and then after that the graph will come onto, the graph will display on the slide. So I take the object, select the object, and I go to animation. And when I animations is similar to transition, but you'll see a lot of animation here. I'll just move this to the side so we can see the effect. So if I appear as a star, if I preview it, fade, okay, fly in, float in, and then you can also see like the jump or swell, okay, spin, okay, tweet. So I'll just put it to spin, or I'll have to bounce. No, I don't want the bounce, I'll put it to spin. Okay, so you get the idea. So okay, let's just spin it around. Okay, so that's the first animation that's going to appear, and it has got a one to it. So I'll move this one to that place, so I don't want it to come and occupy the space for the graph. Okay, so again it's set. So first thing we need to do is on start on click. Okay, now duration is going to be 2 seconds, so I'll have to move it up to maybe 3 seconds or 4. And then the delay, play the animation after a certain number of seconds. Okay, we don't want any delay, we just want it to start quickly. So if we want it to delay, like say 1 minute and then 1 second, and then it starts swelling, or you can specify the delay, but for now we'll just leave it at 0. And now our second will be this graph here. How it's going to come in will be coming in as a bounce. It's going to bounce all the way, and then it's going to come down like that. And duration will be, say, it's going to stay there for 3 or 4 seconds. And then the start meaning that I'm not going to click the, again it's on presentation. If you are doing in person presentation, then you can put on click, but otherwise I'll put this one with after the previous, meaning that the first will be the smiley, and then after that the graph will come on. So let's review that. You go back to the review, and now the smiley is, and then you can see that after the smiley has completed the swell, then the graph is now bouncing into the screen. Okay, so that is and if I want to add a third, I can now put another shape, and this time it's going to be like a arrow. Okay, so down arrow, so I can go here, and then I can put this one around, and I can put this one up like this. So I'm just putting this like that, and this arrow here. So this is going to be animation. It's going to be zooming in, okay, and it's going to be duration will be another 4 seconds, and it's going to come after the previous again, so that will be after the chart. So let's preview it again here. So if we look at it, the smiley is now swelling it. After that, the graph comes over the, and then you will see that the arrow is now coming in. So that's how you specify your animation. So you select each element, and then you want to see how it's going to come in onto the slide. So if you look at the other one, is if you, after you have set this, if you want to change the position or the animation order, you can go to animation pane, and now you can see that number one is smiley face 11, then comes picture 3, which is the chart, and then the arrow. But if I want this to go up, I want the smiley to come later, then I can push it down by pressing the down arrow. So I put the smiley down. That means that the picture will come first, and then the graph will come first, then the arrow will come second, and then after the arrow the smiley will come. Okay, so now I'm rearranging the transition or the animation order. So if I go and preview, there you can see that the graph comes first, then the arrow, and then the animation. So if I go here and run it, okay, so the smiley comes first. Wait, it doesn't swell or anything. Graph comes first, then the arrow goes in, and then the face will swell. Okay, so that's the order of animation order when you on the animation pane. You can specify the order in which the animations will occur. So that's, once again, animation is specifically for each slide, each object. So when you want to set your animations, you go to each of the slides, and then you set your animations straight away. So there's no such thing as apply hold, because each element on the slides, each of the slides will be different. Some will contain text, some will contain images, photos, etc. So how you want to animate, you animate each individual slide and their objects, like whatever you put on the slide. But for transition, you can make it consistent across all slides. So that's how you set your transition and animations. Now if you want to remove all these transitions and animations, then you can go here in the animations pane, and you can now remove the animation that you don't want it to appear. You can remove it from there. Okay, for the transition, you can go to transition, and then you can select the transition. And if you don't want any transition but you want a normal slide, then you can just go to none, and then that will remove the transition effects. So you go, that's the way to remove it. Go to transitions, drop down and click none. And if you want to remove the animations, you go to the animations pane and start removing the ones that you don't want. So that's how you set your transitions and animations in PowerPoint.